Welcome back to the Fantasy Football Channel. Kyle, how are you doing today?
I am doing very well. How are you doing today?
I am also doing wonderful. It's August. Mock drafts are rolling. We are continuing the fantasy football rankings, which we have been sending out hand over fist to fans that have been subscribing or following or messaging, whatever the heck it is you're supposed to be doing on that stuff. If you do it, you get all of the Fantasy Football Channel rankings for free, which includes strength of schedule, offensive line rankings, and so much more. Hit the follow button, comment, roast me or Kyle. We don't give a rat's. Today, we got running backs 16 through 30. How you feeling about this one today? How we doing?
Well, I feel great, but I love to talk about these guys. But generally speaking, definitely not as exciting as the top 15 running backs. And there's definitely a big drop off here for points and players, in my opinion.
There is a little bit of a cliff. I would agree with you on that. Without further ado, are you ready to start us off with Javonte Williams at running back 16?
Let's do it. This guy just outside the top 15. We have a true workhorse here in Dallas. Surprised a lot of people last year, finishing as running back 12. They do have a hard schedule, middle of the pack offensive line, but he's a true workhorse. So you can't have him any lower than 16, being that he finished 12 last year. Maybe a little bit of touchdown regression for the guy. He did score quite a bit last year.
Yeah, this is one that we would have liked to have seen go higher for sure. We would have tried to like to see go higher, but we could. But Javonte Williams last year, guys, 1,200 rushing yards, 11 touchdowns. He had 2 more through the air. He did lose 2 fumbles, but this guy surprised the heck out of us. He is doing well out there, and if you get yourself some Javonte Williams, you will not be disappointed.
Yeah, he had over 1,200 yards and 13 total touchdowns.
Yep, yes, sir. That's it right there. Number 17. This one is controversial. He is he's spread across the board in a lot of projections, a lot of rankings. We did watch his preseason game the other night, and he does look pretty spectacular.
He looks pretty good.
Jeremiah Love. We were talking Jeremiah Love. This is a redraft we're obviously talking about. They have 4 running backs over there. Here's our biggest knock on Jeremiah Love. It's the Arizona Cardinals offensive line, which is 19th, not that great. And they have the hardest schedule in the NFL. They are going to face many strong defenses. He is going to get stuffed at the line many times, similar to kind of how Genty did last year. But this dude is a talent. We just think it's going to be a year or two before that talent really shines in the fantasy board.
Yeah, and it's also he's going to be in a timeshare. Like Genty got a ridiculous amount of carries for being a rookie in that offense last year. And that's rather rare. And they just brought Algier over. So it's not going to be the same amount of work, and what probably will be a worse, if not similar, offense, but with a hard schedule. Mm-hmm. And the strength of this team is still going to be the ability to air it out to tight end and receivers.
Yep.
But obviously, he's a phenomenal player. I just think we're going to be much lower than him. Obviously, at 17 than the consensus. Hopefully he proves us wrong, especially for Cardinals fans. Just for fantasy, it's a wait a year for us, probably.
That sounds fair. That sounds fair and accurate. We have a new home for Mr. Travis Etienne, who did finish as a top 10 running back last year in Jacksonville. He is no longer there. He is shipped off to the Saints in this new-ish offense and regime we got going over there. There is still Kamara here, but Travis Etienne did amazing last year. He is very effective in the passing game, and I very much expect that. He had 6 receiving touchdowns. I remember that because I had some Trevor Lawrence. The dude rushed for over 1,100 yards and 7 rushing touchdowns on top of those 6 receiving. I think this is, someone who's going to get some timeshare, but he is going to be the main guy, and they paid him as such because they gave him a 4-year, $52 million deal, the highest paid running back on the team. He will get the bulk, but there will be some split.
Yeah, and I think you guys, we're probably going to find a lot of what I'm about to say in this range where it's like it is like the team's starting running back, but I'm just not as excited as I feel like I need to be. But he did finish as 10 last year, PPR formats. We know he can catch. And that was a Jaguars team with they were good at running the ball. Mm-hmm. So, it's a bit of a downgrade from here going to the Saints. However, the Saints do have one of the easiest schedules in the NFL this year. So 18 is where he's going to fall. A guy who's going to be most of the work guy who got paid, a talented guy. But for some reason, for whatever that is, you're just a little bit not as excited about it.
Yep, absolutely. At 19, We have the Energizer Bunny combined with the Wrecking Ball in Cam Scattigo. This guy is electric. He is fun to watch. No one remembers his 4.740, which he did run at the combine 2 years ago, and everyone made a big deal about it. It's not a big deal because he can run people over. He can pass block well. He can catch the ball well. He does need to stay on the field. He does seem to get a little bit injury prone with kind of the madness that he plays with, but I love watching this cat play football. Cam Scattigo could easily finish as a top 15 running back if he stays healthy, and he can do it all on the field.
Yeah, it's really funny when you watch this guy play. It's like, you wouldn't think, I mean, he's built kind of more like a small fullback,
Yep.
but the man has a nose to just work and find the hole, and he's real scrappy. But Energizer Bunny's a good reference. He's over there on the sidelines, pumping up his guys, doing whatever he needs to do. He's got all the Kool-Aid drank in his system already. He's ready to rock out there. So, I mean, it's really fun to see. You don't see that very often, especially at this position.
Yep.
But
Yeah, he's a you rah rah guy for sure. He's he's a football you rah rah guy.
yeah, and there could be, you also don't think he catches very well, but he can catch also. Tyrone Tracy will probably take some third down work, but he can catch. So, I mean, this guy's proven he can do it all pretty well, actually. So it's hard to be any lower on him in what we think is going to be an approved team. They do have, toward a harder schedule, 21st. So this is what it is. Not the best offensive line, not the worst offensive line, but when he's in there, he's been a difference maker.
Yep. At number 20, we got Quinshon Judkins. This guy's an absolute stud. It's a bit of a double-edged sword here. First one being, head coach says he's absolutely a workhorse running back. The running backs coach said he's absolutely an every down, 3-down back. So the coaching staff loves him. He is going to get the volume no matter what. The problem is with this cat is efficiency because offensive line isn't great. Quarterback situation is questionable. So they only had 3.6 yards per carry last year, but 7 touchdowns, 230 carries, 827 total yards to the ground. That is respectable, and that's only going to increase this year, as this coaching staff has been saying. They like this guy a lot. His efficiency could be better, but when you're getting a running back at 20 and you're getting this much volume out of him, this is almost a steal.
He's a great talent. He missed a couple games last year, and he still finished at running back 26. They have a little bit of coaching turnover there, so no one knows exactly how that's going to play out. Obviously, he's not as great for PPR, but he is one of the more workhorse guys on a team that usually likes to run the ball, and the new coach is usually good for running backs, and they do have one of the easier strength of schedules. Apparently, their offensive line has really turned over the last couple of years. This used to be one of the best offensive lines. Mike Clay has them down to 28 right now. So there's a lot of kind of balancing of teeter-tottering back and forth, but he's going to be a workhorse. He's a guy that has talent. He's a young guy. He's physically very good. So, 20, I think, is his kind of floor and upside combined for the right price.
At 21, we got Bucky Irving. He is 2 years removed from a phenomenal rookie campaign, in which his rookie campaign 2 years ago, 5.42 yards per carry, 8 touchdowns, 1,100 yards, and 47 catches to the air. Now, last year, the boy was hurt. He only played in 10 games. Some of the games he played in, he was hurt even more so. It was ugly. It was disgusting. He went to a 3.4 yard per carry average. I think that gets back to more so where it was last year, 2 years ago, because the offensive line is still solid. Rashad White was shipped off. This is Bucky Irving's backfield to lose, and I expect him to do well this year and bounce back, and I'd like to see him higher in this 21 rating, but I know you don't agree as much.
What I like is that for Bucky, they shipped off Rashad. However, they did add another running back, Kenny Gainwell, and they do have one of the best offensive lines. They do have a tougher schedule, but the main concern for me is this offense, since Liam Cohen left, has not looked the same, and it really hasn't shown much life compared to what it once was. And I don't think that's still figured out, right? They sent off Mike Evans. You still have Chris Godwin there, who's going to be injured and very disappointing for everybody else. Obviously, Emeka Buku, we are going to praise. He's going to get tons of looks. He's a great talent there. Some question marks around Baker. But I just feel like the offensive-minded coaching staff here is not great. So those are my big concerns. I would expect a bit of a bounce here from Bucky is what we can all expect. And this is the pick where if you want to swing, this is a swing pick. you got upside here for days if you're looking for upside around these other guys.
That is well said, my friend. At number 22, we got TreVeyon Henderson. Both of these Patriots running back make me scratch my head a little bit. I don't fully believe in either one of them, but I can believe in some of TreVeyon Henderson's numbers. And that is 180 attempts, 911 rushing yards, which gives him a 5.06 yard per carry and 9 rushing touchdowns. That is respectable. However, I don't think they trust him in the passing game with pass blocking as much. They still give Stevenson a lot of work. And both of these guys can cough up the football sometimes, so there's some question marks there. But this is a phenomenal offense with a really good offensive line. So TreVeyon Henderson has some value here at 22.
Yeah, I mean, he quietly finishes 21 last year and had 10 total touchdowns. And I still don't trust Stevenson. I've wanted to be in on Stevenson for a while now, and he just continues to disappoint everybody. So, you're going to get a lot of production out of this running back room. And I think this is where the bulk of it comes from. So you look at him to take another step forward, and it's another guy here with, I think, a good floor, and there's good upside here as well. So in this tier of maybe some questionable ones, I think he's another guy you can take a shot on. They do have the 10th easiest schedule, so you like that a little bit, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Number 23, you take this one off here in Jacksonville.
Yeah, Bashal Tutin. I did trade for him in Dynasty with the chance and the hope that he is much more involved. They did bring over Rodriguez as well from the Commanders, mostly because of the coaching staff, and they had a formal previous relationship with Rodriguez at the collegiate level. So it's Tutin and Rodriguez's show to start. And, it's a smaller guy. I'm hoping he can handle more of the work. Last season, he was running back 53 and didn't do a lot. Obviously, there was ETN there for most of the work. But it's a guy who's going to have opportunities to become the guy. And this is kind of like pricing in that it kind of does, right? He truly does. He's going to outperform this. Or if Rodriguez comes in as just a better first and second down rusher, then he's going to fall further than this.
Yeah, I mean, Bashal Tutin is getting this ranking and even higher in some other leagues just because of the vacancy of ETN no longer being there. It doesn't necessarily mean he is proven and can do it, because he hasn't. Last year, he only had 83 attempts for 300 yards, 3.7 yards per carry. That's not that good. And this is his first year in the NFL. So this is really just a promotion through vacancy, which I don't love because you don't know how that's going to go. And I think, like Kyle said, Chris Rodriguez could easily take this over as well. And LaQuint Allen is going to be active in the passing game. The coaches have already said that, which means this could be a three-headed split monster. And therefore, that really sucks away the value from any one of these guys.
I'm not worried about that guy as much for the work. And the one thing I will say, though, is the coaching staff here has historically been really good for running backs. So I got to think that there's going to be production here, and you have to have some faith in either Tutin or Rodriguez, whichever way you want to swing.
Sure.
Swifty, DeAndre Swift coming at number 24. We're doing a bit of a disservice. Yes, he is a Bear. Yes, we are Packer fans. We know. Finished as 15 last year. And they do have the 26 hardest, so one of the harder schedules, 26 easiest, so one of the harder schedules. But Mike Clay is giving them one of the best offensive line rankings this year. And, it's someone that I've never been as excited about since his days of being injured and letting you down. But as of most recently, the guy has been performing. A good offensive line, a good offense. There's going to be points here if he stays on the field. I really like Kyle Monangai, but as long as Swift stays healthy, I think it's kind of his work to lose. But I will at least see this getting closer to 60-40, 50-50 at some point. But for now, I think this is still a decent pick for Swift.
It's a Bear, and I'm buying him. Let me tell you why. That offensive line is great, not just good, and it got better. On top of that, DeAndre Swift has been one of the most consistent running backs in the NFL. In his last 6 years, he finished as 15, 19, 20, 21, 15, 18. That's as consistent as it gets in terms of a top 20 running back who you're getting just outside the top 20 in terms of paying for him. The Bears have a good offense. They have a great offensive line, like I said. DeAndre Swift is a good value here, and it's tough to say, but it's the truth.
It is the truth. And I think some of us, like I have a bad taste in my mouth for when he was in Detroit and he was always injured and always just never lived up to it.
but still
Um,
relevant. He's just not top 5 relevant. He was still
yeah,
relevant,
yeah.
top 20,
And
just
so
never. Yeah.
the last few years, he's been a great, if you go zero or hero RB, he's the guy at some point, if he can, stash before it drops off even further.
Yep.
The next guy, rookie Jadarian Price. This is another faith one. We know Seattle last year really good at running the ball. Defensive minded head coach. They're going to want to run the football. That's for sure. We obviously know the absence of Kenny Walker off to the Chiefs, and Zach Charbonnet suffered an injury last year, and he'll miss how much of the season? Nobody knows yet. So high draft capital rookie here is going to have all the opportunity in the world to come in and to be the guy early in the season for sure. They did take another Packers backup running back. Was it Wilson, Emmanuel Wilson?
Yep.
In free agency, who I think is also an underrated running back. So I think to start this season, it'll be those two guys, and we don't know what it'll look like. I don't think it'll be as good rushing as they were last year, but I still think there'll be a lot of work here, and he'll have tons of opportunities to see what this guy can do.
Yeah, absolutely. Seattle, great offense, great offensive line. Jadarian Price and the Charbonnet balance is interesting because what it's looking like Charbonnet is for sure missing September, could come in around sometime in October. So you're going to miss him for, let's just say, 4 to 8 weeks for the speculation. Jadarian Price has 4 to 8 weeks to prove he can be a man amongst boys and lead this team. I do think, though, whenever Charbonnet comes back, it will go 60 Charbonnet, 40 Price, just about no matter how, because we know Charbonnet is trusted in the goal line, and that is where some points are going to come with this team when they hand the ball off from the goal line. I don't think Price is as big as Charbonnet. So it's just an interesting trade-off. We like Price here because he could have a backfield to himself with some stragglers and Emmanuel Wilson for 4 to 8 weeks where he could really prove that he deserves to be in the backfield.
Yeah, I think so. But at some point in the season, I know Charbonnet will still be involved, but it's kind of at what level with how Price does and how they're doing and how he's recovering from the injury and how he looks. So those are my kind of concerns there. But I think to start the season, he could be a guy who could start off hot, but he will likely be a guy who might not have as much work when Charbonnet comes back or toward the end of the season, which is not ideal for championships.
Number
Chuba.
20.
Take him.
It's Chuba.
Chuba.
Chuba has kind of been a disappointment most of his career. He did have some shines, some shines and flashes last year. We love saying his name. It's a fun one to say. But I mean, last year, 130 attempts, 511 yards, and only 3.81 yards per carry. The real issue with Chuba was he only fell in the touchdown or in the end zone 1 time in terms of rusher, 3 times as a pass catcher. Rico Dowdle swallowed a lot of that, but Rico Dowdle is no longer there. However, I don't think Carolina truly loves this guy. I think Jonathan Brooks is going to take this backfield over when the time comes. We shall see how that works. What's your take?
So, I mean, he hasn't always been terrible. He was there was a moment of time where this guy was actually kind of a value running back with some sneaky upside because the offensive line's been good.
2024, he was running back 14th, and then I'll give you that. 2024.
He is 1 year removed from a 2024 season with almost 1,200 yards and 10 rushing touchdowns, 11 total. So does he have the upside with PPR? Not as much. He's not as much of a pass catching guy. And, last year was a huge disappointment. Rico Dowdle completely stole the show and outperformed him. So, I mean, I think that could happen again this year with Brooks. Brooks was the high draft rookie who had some big injuries and has really never had a chance to play in the NFL very much at all. So I think he's number 2 on the depth chart, and he's kind of a dark horse sleeper for me to outperform if I'm going to take a shot, unless you really just need maybe like a floor running back. Then Chuba, I think, could offer that. But at some point, I don't think his upside will be enough for your fantasy team or for even the Panthers this year. They do have one of the hardest schedules as well. So I don't love a lot of this, but it is hard to have a starting running back be, much lower than this for what's a good offensive line.
Yeah. Number 27, one of the most exciting running backs. I like to talk about this in the back end of drafts. That is J.K. Dobbins. Double-edged sword here. I love this player. I do not love this player's bones, ligaments, and soft tissue. Let me remind everyone, in terms of the last 5 years, the games he played in, 10, 13, 1, 8, 0, and 15. However, the yards per carry in that same order, 5, 4.6, 2, 5.6, 6. The dude, when he is out there and is healthy, is one of the most efficient, productive running backs I've ever seen. The issue is he's never played a full season, and that pains my soul. And by the way, he already has a soft tissue injury in the preseason, which hurts my soul even more. But it's one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. Get yourself some J.K. Dobbins at 27 and hope to hell he don't get hurt.
It's pretty much baked in that he's not going to play a full season. They drafted a rookie running back, one of the better ones out of the draft, and they still have RJ Harvey there. To me, RJ Harvey is the pass catching guy. That's just how he profiles. Last year, he tried to replace J.K. Dobbins, and he couldn't do it. He's just not the best first and second down runner, but he's really good at catching and receiving work. So I think they have a new rookie there that is the insurance policy for if and when Dobbins goes down, likely. But when he's in there, this is one of the best offensive lines, and he's a good running back. So when he's in there, he's going to get you a decent floor. So that's kind of why we have him where we do. And it's a great offense. You want pieces of a great offense, and you want them, to get in the red zone and have the guys get tackled at the 1 or 2 yard lines a couple times, all the divas out there, so he can just stumble in the end zone a few times for you. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen here.
Just a nice little stumble for you, huh?
Just a nice little stumble. That's all he really needs is when he's healthy, and he'll be fantasy relevant for you. And I think that's what's going to happen.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, they have one of the easier schedules. They have the best offensive line in the NFL. So all of that screams, just stay healthy and just fall into the end zone a little bit for me.
Denver Broncos, one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. On the flip side of that, the Tennessee Titans and Tony Pollard at number 28, one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL at number 29 in terms of offensive line ranking. However, this stat surprised the heck out of me. Tony Pollard's 29 years old, and last year he had a 4.47 yard per carry average, which I was very impressed with, and also over 1,000 yards to finish as running back 23 last year. So if there's a little bit of sneaky value here, there could be. He is 29, like I said, and this offensive line is pathetic, but I do think Cam Ward takes a huge step forward with this offense this year, and the fact that they have better weapons on the outside to help spread everything out. I think that helps a little bit, where there could be a little bit of value here with Pollard.
I'm similar. Before I was just most of the offseason when I was thinking about these teams, and it's like, I'm out on Tennessee's backfield. It's kind of garbage. You know what I mean? Yep. But I'm looking at Tony Pollard, and I've always liked the player. The last 4 years on 2 different teams, he's had over 1,000 yards every single season and at least 5 touchdowns. So this just screams he's a value running back here. They did also draft another rookie running back. And then, of course, you have Tyjae Spears in the mix. But Tony Pollard is just better than those guys. So, I mean, in this range, I think he's going to be good for value.
Yeah, absolutely. Real quick, I want to take a note. In the past 5 years, we broke down some data. How many running backs in the 15 to 30 range finished as a top 10 running back in total points in PPR leagues? The answer is 5 times total, which is roughly a 6% hit rate, which is not the greatest. But remember, I kept that on a tight margin with it being a top 5 running back. So basically, out of these guys, 1 or 2 may finish in the top 5, and it's quite the needle at the haystack throw. The next name I'm about to say is not one I expect to be in the top 5, because it is Aaron Jones Sr., Mr. Sunborough we used to have in Green Bay. This is truly a split backfield with him and the other cat in there. And quite frankly, I don't expect either of those running backs to have a fully healthy season. But if you go 0 RB and you need someone, you can get them.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron Jones has always been, I think, one of the more underrated running backs as like a pure running back in the NFL. Of course, he has a history of some injury and not playing full seasons. And I think that might be part of the reason why Green Bay, got him for Jacobs and that, however that ended up. But he's very talented, but he's also not huge, but he can catch and he has some receiving upside. Of course, it's going to be Jordan Mason, who should get the first and second down work for a lot of it. But in PPR, I think there might be sneaky upside, assuming he can stay healthy at his age, especially because, the quarterback is Kyler Murray. We should probably look at how much, now that we know that, he throws to the running back. And you have a middle-of-the-road schedule and a middle-of-the-road offensive line. So it's hard to get excited about it, but I think it's a guy in PPR formats that offers a pretty good floor if you're, in this range and going kind of a 0 RB, or he's a depth piece.
Yeah. At number 30, and this is a bit of a disservice to this man and Jaylen Warren, who finished as running back 17 last year, guys. In the last 4 years he's played football, His yards per carry is 4.5, 4.2, 5.2, and 4.9. That is the best green light bar I've ever seen in a row in terms of that's pretty good. And he's the returner on this team who has camaraderie in the offense. Rico Dowdle is there, ready to snake some carries, but we know a Mike McCarthy-led team is going to have a 1-2 punch with running backs. You're absolutely going to see it be a very close 55-45 or 60-40 split. But Jaylen Warren finishing at 17 and coming back and being projected to 30 in our rankings here, that's not bad. That's not bad. There could be some value there.
Yeah, I mean, we think Dowdle will be a little more efficient, possibly, and probably get more receiving work. Warren isn't usually going to get the receiving work, but he almost had 1,000 yards last year. So he's a similar, like he's a starting running back. He's going to get work kind of value guy. It's just hard to put an upside for your fantasy team. He did finish as running back 17 last year for PPR. So just a similar type of thing to what we've been saying.
Yeah.
So
he does
you
get the
mentioned
receiving work though. 40, 38, and 61 are his catches the last 3 years. So he does get plenty of receiving work. Just want to make that clear. Warren.
Okay, so why don't we look at Kenny Gainwell, who was there last year, and I'll tell you how many catches he had if I can find him in here. You want to try and you got him up by chance?
Sure. That is Kenny Gainwell. Yeah, he had 73 catches last year, 16 the year before that, 30 the year before that.
Last year he had 73. You heard it right. So we know Warren can catch, but last year it was Gainwell who had all the catches, and Rico Dowdle had 39 last year in the Panthers. So yeah, I mean, this is true. Like these guys are pretty comparable. But I just feel like Dowdle is the little more the better option for the pass catching for this season. But maybe they'll just be, two comparable guys out there and they'll play the hot hand.
That's probably what Mike McCarthy is going to do. He's been known to do that for sure. In terms of Dowdle's catching, Dowdle had 39, 39, and 17 over the last 3 years. So I think that'll be pretty much even in terms of Warren and Dowdle in the receiving game. We'll see who's hot. We'll see who Mike McCarthy's feeling that morning.
Well, then I'm curious to see. I mean, I think Warren profiles is a little bit more north and south, first down.
Yeah,
you disagree?
We're splitting hairs. I don't know. Before last year, I seen him more as the scat back because then Pittsburgh used to have a bigger guy that would handle the bulk carries, and then Warren was more the PPR third down guy. And then last year, we kind of saw that split off a little bit just because of Gainwell being there. But I think we'll see. I mean, either way, it's the first time in however long where there's no more Mike Tomlin, right? So who really knows what Mike McCarthy is going to do with this offense, bringing back Aaron Rodgers? We do know though he will run the football, and he's not going to run away from running the football. He's going to do that for sure.
He won't get away from it. They do have, according to Mike Clay, not the greatest 27th ranked offensive line, but middle of the road strength of schedule. And they do have that rookie from 1 or 2 years ago, was it Caleb Johnson, who muffed that special teams play and then you never saw him again. I think he's still third on the depth chart, and he's a bigger guy than both these guys.
He is in the doghouse, currently listed at running back 4 on that depth chart. They are not happy with him.
Okay. All right. So we talked about the top 30, and we talked about the percent that they hit in the top 10, I believe was your statistic.
Yep. You want another statistic? I got a good one for you if you want another one. I went one step further, and I said, how many running backs that are projected in the last 5 years between 15 and 30? How often do they finish as top 30 running backs? And that answer is 56% of the time. So half of these names that we just said will finish in the top 30 this year, which gives you a little bit more of a safer kind of floor with it, if you will. But very hard for these guys to finish top 5.
Okay, I want you to give me your one player out of here that you think has a chance. Who is your player to finish inside the top 10? And then also your safest player to finish inside this range. So your upside pick and then your safe pick.
Well, upside, I am going to say Quinshawn Judkins or Cam Scatterbo. And the reason I said both because Scatterbo might get injured again. But nonetheless, I'm going to say Judkins and Scatterbo. Safest pick? I was thinking J.K. Dobbins just to mess with you. Safest pick is definitely safest pick is Javonte Williams, but he's so tight at 16, it's kind of.
I know. I was going to say the same thing.
I didn't want to cap. I'm going to go back and I'm going to say minus injury J.K. Dobbins because he has the best offensive line, the best offense out of all these running backs in 15 through 30.
Okay, you're just not afraid about the injury risk.
I said I put that aside, but yeah.
Next year we're going to have to do an injury risk for each player. There's like a separate column to then feel better about it.
Who wants to live life in fear? You just got to go for it.
All right. That's fine. Okay.
What do you? Same question to you. What do you got over
Oh,
there?
same question to me. I mean, obviously, Love is the. Well, I mean, most people have him probably inside the top 15. He's the easy one there, so I'll give you another one. Um, I think it's probably Bucky or Tootin have outside chances.
Look at that. I like it. I got
Those are
you
the
back on the
upside.
Bucky train. We got him
Those are
back
the
on the Bucky train.
upside ones. I mean, even Henderson has upside, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
You could, and then I'd say highest floors regarding health is probably Swift.
Yep, that's fair. I would agree with that for that offensive line sake. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Alrighty, folks. You need to follow, subscribe, comment, roast me or Kyle. Like we said, we don't care. We'll get you this ranking, this beautiful document in your inbox for free. You can play with it. You can adjust it. You can tweak it. You can see strength of schedule. You can see offensive line rankings. What else do you need from us, guys? We're just trying to help. Like, follow, subscribe. Kyle, you got anything else?
No, we'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for tuning in.